least not bring them out at the moment.
I'm sorry. Maybe we get up there too. Hey, toy gun.
Dude, you got us covered, man. You're it. We're all going behind you.
Speaker, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chairman Benson and members of the Law and Public Safety Committee. I first of all want to thank the Chairman for putting this bill on your agenda today so that we could have a discussion about an issue that is extremely important to many residents of the state, all across the state. But I have to share with you, I wish I could have delved into that discussion that preceded this, but I quietly kept my seat.
There's a spot right there.
You know, and I'm so glad that the president of the East Orange Municipal Council is able to be here with me this afternoon despite his busy schedule. But I want to walk you back to the year 2014 when our nation was appalled at the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice. He was playing in a park in a residential neighborhood with his sister, who was about a year or two older than him. And someone in the neighborhood, glancing out of their window, called the Cleveland police and said, "There's a child in the park. He appears to have a gun. It could be a toy gun, but I don't know." The police were dispatched to the park, and when the officer got out of his car, less than 60 seconds passed, and Tamir Rice was on the ground dead. That really gripped me. And I think a lot of people began to think, how does a 12-year-old child, good student, good home, following all the rules as a kid, and he ends up in the park dead. Subsequently, Council President Green began to have conversation with his colleagues in the East Orange Municipal Council. And we began to have discussion with people in other cities around the state. And lo and behold, it was brought to my attention through this process that there are local confectionery stores. You know, if you live in a big city in New Jersey, we call them bodegas. But you go to the local bodega for a quart of milk, a loaf of bread, a Snapple diet iced tea, or a newspaper. And you can go into some bodegas in New Jersey. There'll be a display case on the counter, and what will be in those display cases are these guns you see assembled on this desk, toy guns. So I'm a kid getting out of school at 2:30 in the afternoon. I've got some disposable income. My parents give me an allowance, and I am able to go into a local confectionery store, a bodega, and I can buy one of these replica guns. Tamir Rice had a replica gun, and if we comb the data nationally, we will find other instances of young people who have been killed in situations where people thought they actually had a real gun. I also know that this summer, I believe it was over in Union County in Westfield, we had several instances of bank robberies where these replica guns were used. I was then motivated back in 2014 to begin to work with the councilman and to craft a bill that we could introduce in the state legislature to address this issue of the sale of toy guns in neighborhood stores. You know, many will believe, well, you know, this is a capitalistic free enterprise system. Manufacturers can manufacture what they want and they can sell what they want. I'm very sorry. I take umbrage with that when there is something that looks like this that can be purchased in a local confectionery store and a 12-year-old can be dead as a result of it. And that leads us to Assembly Bill 1119. That is what this bill is about. This bill is about putting some parameters around imitation or toy guns that are accessible to children that will be mistaken for a real weapon and something disastrous happens. I think with each passing day, I get tired of flipping on my remote and watching from news station to news station stories about bad things that happen to children. Children are immature. They don't have the same rational ability to reason as we do as adults, and I think it is incumbent upon those of us involved in government to extend protection to children. That's what A119 is about, and that's what we are seeking to do, to rein in some parameters on what toy guns that are sold in New Jersey can look like in order to protect children. Law enforcement, in my opinion, is afforded a level of protection as well. Because if I am a law enforcement professional and I am responding to a scene, or we've got a call through dispatch, I never know what I am walking up onto as a law enforcement professional either. And I believe it is incumbent upon us to also help law enforcement at least have the ability when they're responding to a scene and this is not a real weapon that can be fired, that helps and minimizes something that could be disastrous as well. And with that, I'm going to pass the microphone over to to Council President Green, and I'm going to ask him to share some of this information with you.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, to the entire Law and Public Safety Committee, first of all, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity, Assemblywoman Oliver, to be here today for such a, I think, needed bill. We are very honored in the city of East Orange, where we not only voted for a city ordinance which passed 10-0, along with partnership with the Township of Irvington, the municipality, the city of Orange latched on to it, and the city of New York is in process of latching on to ordinance that we basically followed from Assemblywoman Sheila Oliver. And when we talked about the issues that was occurring not only in the urban cities, many council people understood what was happening. And we basically took it out and went to the local stores. We did a statistic in our community where we can walk in local bodega stores and basically walk in and purchase one of these guns, or any youth can buy one of these guns at a price of $2. And when you look at the guns, as Assemblywoman Oliver said, it is troublesome. So we wanted to make sure that we was on the forefront of not only protecting our youth, protecting our police officers. So we have been on a serious campaign in the city of East Orange, working with our local stores in the community. Now we're starting to see when we do walk in the stores, and the reason why I brought some of the brighter guns, we're starting to not see these type of guns that they're selling in the stores, or these type of guns here with the orange front on, because mistakenly a 14-year-old kid or even an adult at a situation, we know for a fact that it can be identified as a real gun. And what we also found out, and the reason we brought some spray paint, we have learned throughout the days in our community, our young people are now taking the guns, you see with the display, they're taking the guns and spray painting the orange piece on the gun, which causes the gun to look like a Mr. Chairman. So we are very happy to not only support Bill number 1119, but again, we're very happy to work with our Assemblywoman on making sure we do everything we can on a local level to make sure we support what goes on a national level, on a state level.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.